girl with naturally blue eyes. I have dealt with comments about my eyes my entire life, both good and bad, and it's never really bothered me. However, the comments that I've been getting recently are along the lines of, why are you wearing those blue contacts? You should just be happy with the brown eyes God gave you. You would look so much better if you just wore the brown eyes you were blessed with.
I'm glad you're watching. Before we dive into today's video, I want to appreciate your love and support for my channel, and this video, I'm sure you'll love it. This another educational video that I'm bringing to you, and you will love it. I'm sure you'll love it. Today we'll be talking about the complexity of the black race, and there's something I want to pass across. In Africa, there's something that people, especially those who are uneducated in Africa, they tend to associate everything that is unusual to demons. So yeah, it's always important that we raise awareness of such things when we come across them. This is a story of a black girl with let me say, natural blue contacts. So, and she's receiving a lot of setbacks, and not just her. There's some another story of a boy who has been discriminated simply because he's looking different. You'll also realize that among the complexity of the black race, there's a lot you can speak about. But today, let's focus on the eyes, and also we'll be looking at those who have blonde hair. Did you know that there are black people with blonde hair? And where did they come from? And how did that happen? So this lady is trying to explain the complexity that she's having and the exceptionality of her eyes that comes from her parents, and she made a very elaborated explanation that you love it, and this you have to learn. Like, you will learn a lot. Let's learn together. And also don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section and share the video, and let's make that impact that we are looking for. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate your love and support for my channel. Click that like button kindly, and also subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that you stopped by.
Then it made me think, like, why do I have blue eyes? So I was born with gray eyes, and then later they kind of got the pigmentation that they have now. I'm not sure if the spots in my eyes were always there. Like, I have like these like spots. My mom has one blue eye and one brown eye. So this eye on me has a lot of brown in it, and I think this eye was supposed to be brown like my mom's. And then she has like a blue eye, and in her brown eye she has like blue spots at the bottom.
I walk around the world with a brown and blue eye with no eyebrows. It just, no. Just a little bit.
I kind of do.
No, you have two of the same color eyes.
This one's mainly brown. This one?
No. I got one blue and one brown.
Where are you from? And I would always just say Denver. My dad's from Michigan. So today I have my parents, and they're not happy with me. They look miserable.
Pass.
Booger can't be that bad. You can still eat the booger.
Ew, Dad.
How would you know?
Both of my parents are black, and I never understood why people would ask me if I was mixed, because I don't think I look mixed. So the next article I found talked about Wonderberg syndrome, a mutation in the genes that changes the pigments in your eyes. It can change the pigments in your hair, in your skin. There are 4 different types, I think. The first type is people who report having spots in their eyes or on their face or in their hair, and then they usually have very like set eyes. The second type of Wonderberg syndrome differs from the first because people don't have the wide space in their eyes. They still have the spots. But what's interesting about number 2, and why I think I have Wonderberg syndrome number 2, is because people with number 2 Wonderberg syndrome suffer from a hearing loss, and I'm deaf in my left ear. And I don't know if I was born deaf, but I remember finding out very, very young, probably first grade, when in schools in America they make all the kids take like hearing tests and seeing tests. They like put you in this little like headphone situation, and they like play sounds, so you have to listen to sounds on your right ear, and every time you hear a sound you have to like raise your hand. So they were doing my right ear, and I was like, yeah, I hear it. And then when they got to my left ear, I was just kind of sitting there, and I was like, are you gonna turn it on, or what's happening? And they're like, oh, I think you're deaf, sweetie. Then they sent me home with these pamphlets about hearing aids and stuff, and I think I just threw them away. Like, I didn't want to tell my parents a hearing problem because I didn't want to wear a hearing aid. Like, back then the hearing aids were so big, and I already was one of the only black kids in my school, and I had blue eyes. Like, I just didn't want any more attention to myself. So yeah, I'm around 99% sure the reason I have blue eyes is because of Wonderberg syndrome. It is very interesting to find out, but I also just I just really would like people to just leave other people alone. If I were wearing contacts, it's obviously because I like wearing contacts. You're trying to empower me to love my brown eyes, and my eyes aren't brown. So now what? I've realized that I have a slight insecurity when it comes to my eye color too, just because since I was born, I've always had a lot of attention around it. And as I've gotten older, especially like in middle school, it made me feel like I had to prove something to people all the time. Like people would just straight up be like, oh, why are you wearing those contacts? Or why are you lying about your eye color? Like, why would you lie about that? And almost just like I would feel guilty in a sense. Like it would make me feel a little bit of guilt. Like, why am I lying? And then when I got on YouTube, I would get a lot of comments of people, oh, if you didn't have those blue eyes, you wouldn't be as popular. Like, you're only pretty because you have those blue eyes or whatever. And that would make me feel bad too, because it's like, oh, well, is that true? Like, would I only be pretty if I had blue eyes? So I feel like I have subconsciously like shunned away from the fact that I had blue eyes because I feel ashamed a little bit, which is ridiculous to even say. It's ridiculous to feel ashamed of something that I was born with just because of the opinions of other people. Like maybe I wouldn't be as popular if I didn't have blue eyes, or maybe I wouldn't be as pretty if I didn't have blue eyes, but I do have blue eyes. So what are we talking about? Technically, it's a genetic abnormality. It's a disability. My eyes are blue and I'm deaf. We're all just spiritual beings having a human experience. And if what your body you want to do is test stuff out, change your genes, change your face, change your weight, do what you want. Like, I don't really see the problem in it as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Feeling like you have to, though, probably isn't really that healthy. Like, have to change your eye color. I get a lot of comments from people asking like whether or not my kids are gonna have blue eyes, and we live in a very vain world. I hope my kid is intelligent and kind. It might be better if they don't have blue eyes, honestly. Leave them alone. I love you guys.
Zoom her a little bit. Let's pause on this. Have you ever been attacked, or let me say receive a negative feedback of something that you will never change? Maybe it's a disability or it's a deformity or anything that you're having, and people have talked about that particular thing, and you know very well, and they know that there's nothing you can do about it. Have you ever been in that situation? So that's how it feels.
Yo, if you have green eyes, duet me just to start a thing.
The story of this girl here is very interesting. She's saying that her mother prayed for her to get green eyes. So it was her mother's wish to have a child with green eyes. So the mother prayed, and here it is. And she has green eyes. That was the wish of her mother being granted. So let's listen to her.
How my eyes turned green. So my mom prayed that I would have green eyes. Everyone in my family has brown eyes, including my grandparents, just everybody. And so my mom was like, it would be just really cool to have a kid with green eyes. Like, why not? Let's see what God can do. So she prayed Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. So she prayed that. And guess what? People said, you cannot pray for that. You can only pray for a healthy baby. Why would God care about that? And she's like, well, I care and I think it would be cool. So she prayed and boom, I was born with green eyes. And then she prayed for my sister when she was in her belly. She said, God, I pray that she would have green eyes too. And boom, my little sister has green eyes. Why am I telling you this? I tell you this because God cares
Here
about
is another guy with green contact, and you're still to take it off. Now he's making fun of them. How can I remove something natural? So he's trying to prove to them that it's natural. So it's natural green contact. There are black people with natural green contact. So there's more evidence here. Black girl with white contact, natural contacts. There's also this men with also blue contacts. Also this daughter and son. There's also this child. I will bring up his story. He was even outcast because of that, because of how he looks. These are the men. Okay, that boy was outcast because of how he looks. He was even abandoned by the parent. I never noticed that he had blue eyes. Look at this. The people I'm familiar with, but I'd never looked keenly. Oh, these beautiful twins with blue contacts. Wow, blue contacts. This black boys. I know. If you're in the village and find such people, I know they must be outcast, because I told you they try to associate everything with demons. So I don't know. Let's listen to the story of this boy who was outcast and even abandoned by the parents because of how he looks. He had blue eyes, and also there's something that you'll see on his head, and he was outcast. Let me just play a little bit of his story so that you can listen.
Everyone at school laughed at his eyes, but 2 years later, they regretted it. This little boy was born with a mark stretching across his face, a rarity that also makes him incredibly unique. Since birth, he's had a patch of blonde hair and a scar that runs from his head down to his mouth. It almost seems as though he was literally struck by lightning. But that's not all. He has another unique feature that sets him apart in his village: vivid blue eyes. Every other boy in his village has brown eyes. With his blonde patch, scar and blue eyes, he looks so different from everyone else. In fact, he's the only one in his village and the surrounding area to stand out so distinctly. So whenever he went to school, the boys his age would tease him, simply because he was different due to his eye color, scar and patch of hair. He was often bullied, and the teachers did nothing. Even when he'd speak to the principal about it, nothing changed, leaving the boy feeling defeated time after time. This went on for several years, but 2 years later, those who teased him came to deeply regret their actions.
This is not Photoshop. You are looking at African born with natural blue eyes. Well, people tend to think only Europeans have blue eyes, but this is no
color
longer the
contacts
case.
is coming up on a close second.
So here's the thing. I think that people with color contacts, not all of them, sometimes, give weird energy. Now, the people with the natural blue eyes, hazel eyes, green eyes, those are fine with me. I'm fine with them. They're always sweet and they're always nice. But it's the color contact people that are weird. Let me show you something. I know you guys remember this guy's video where he was saying that the reason why he don't have black friends is because of the simple fact that he felt like black people and him never got along, whatever have you. And I was like, what? And then I realized that like people with color contacts, not all, but some of them are weirdos. And then he goes on to say that he used to hate his skin and his eye color and what he looked like as a black person, which is very strange to me. But yeah, this is the reason why people with colored eyes who wear contacts, and preface by saying it's contacts, people see that they're weird because their way of acting is very, I guess you could say, white, or they want to be close to some sort of whiteness, so they act weird around, black people or people of color, which is insane to me. But people with normal eye color who normally have like green eyes, who's naturally born with green eyes, blue eyes, or hazel eyes, they're cool to me. I don't have no problems with them. It's the ones with contacts that's weirdos.
I'm sure we've learned a lot from contacts, colored contacts, but let's look at now those black people with blonde hair and how does this happen. Let's look keenly on this, and also you'll realize that still with blonde hair there's a diversity of hair,
It's natural. All of you have natural hair?
When I think of blonde hair, I think of Sweden or Russia or the US or Australia, basically all countries with native white people. But in the Solomon Islands, people here are of Melanesian descent and mostly have darker skin. A quick Google search led me to a study by Stanford Medical School. It discovered that blondes make up 5 to 10% of the Solomon Island population, and the gene was not passed down by European explorers or traders. It's a completely homegrown genetic strand that only exists here.
They are in Melanesia. Melanesia means island of blacks. I know there are blonde-headed Aborigine in Australia, but in Melanesia, the black people with naturally blonde hair has nothing to do with outside influences. I researched that. So this is who I represent while I'm wearing my hair color blonde. I'm black and I'm proud.
I'll say that it was a pleasurable moment having you on my channel. I'm so glad that you tuned in. Comfort for Life Network. I'm glad. Leave your thought in the comment section. Don't forget to leave your thought. Kindly, I want to hear from you. And also, goodbye for now.